Catechists and preachers love this gospel. Catechists love it because what Jesus was doing to the two disciples, or for the two disciples, was catechizing them, explaining God's workings among them because they had missed the point of it. And preachers love it, especially Catholic preachers love it, because this whole event is a paradigm of what we do every Sunday. We get together and we listen to the Word of God. Sometimes we even have it preached to us, and then we break bread with Jesus. So that's a paradigm of what we do week in and week out all these centuries. But I think there's something even more important to notice here. This whole reading, this whole event on the evening of the resurrection happened because of one thing in particular, and it would not have happened if that had not occurred. The disciples, the two men, Cleopas and his companion, invited Jesus to supper. They were hospitable. They practiced hospitality. And none of this would have happened. It wouldn't have turned out. They would not have recognized Jesus in the breaking of the bread if they had let him go on his way and they went into the inn or wherever they were and spent the night. It all hinged on hospitality. And I think that what that says to us is two things. The first is that if we are going to go on our life journey with Jesus, as we have committed ourselves to doing from the moment of baptism, we've got to be listening to him. And to listen to him, we've got to invite him into our lives, day in and day out. It's very easy to be a Christian and then to just sort of put the scriptures aside, or put prayer aside, or put delving or thinking or trying to interpret our present day circumstances in the light of Jesus and his teachings. We're still Christians. We're still somewhat walking with Jesus, but we're not being catechized by him, and we're not recognizing him. We may recognize him in the breaking of the bread because that's pretty obvious to us now, but we won't recognize him in the other events of our life. They will be extraneous to our life with Christ. So that's the first point. We've got to continually walk with him and listen to him in order for him to reveal himself to us in the course of our years. But the other point is that these two men were disciples of Jesus. And on the evening of the resurrection, when Jesus appeared to the ones that were locked in the upper room, he turned all the disciples into apostles. He turned them into messengers, not just learners, not just disciples, pupils, but messengers, teachers, people who would go out and spread the good news. To be an apostle, and this applies to all of the baptized, we have to be hospitable. Because we don't preach to people. I mean, you better not. But you've got to be hospitable to people. Invite them into our lives. Whoever they are. The unwashed, the unlearned, the obnoxious, the ones who bore us to death. We've got to be open to all these people so that Christ can reveal himself to them through us. Because what other way is he going to do it? He's invisible now, except in us. And so the burden of hospitality, the privilege of being hospitable, has fallen to the Christian people down through the ages. And to the extent that we are open to those who don't know Christ, they meet him. And to the extent that we close in upon ourselves as individuals or as a church even, to that extent, Christ cannot be recognized by those who have not come to know him as we have. And if we've closed in on ourselves as individuals and as a church, we can also ask ourselves the question, how well do we know Jesus if we haven't opened ourselves to the world which he came to lead to the Father?